All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to let everybody get an opportunity to plug in. Just turning right at 4:30. Happy Friday to everybody. Woo woo! It's Friday. I guarantee our at-home teachers are celebrating Friday. This is how teachers celebrate on Friday because it's been a good week, long week. We've made it through the week, and so it is Friday. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is our MISD Facebook update on COVID 19 and all others. So, let's go ahead and get started. And let's start with some big news. Noon today, the governor, Abbott, provided another executive order that all Texas schools will remain closed for in school instruction for the rest of the school year, which means for us that distance learning will continue. The funny thing is, I think kids heard closed and I've probably about 5 million tweets and emails went to the commissioner's office as well as others around the state saying school is closed. Our kids are really smart. They heard just the one word and capitalized on it, but school is not closed. Buildings are closed. School is still on. So we're not letting our parents, students, and others off hook just yet. Just got a few more weeks that we need to get to so we can still drive what this learning opportunity could look like and how we progress from now moving further into summer into the start of the school year. Because the interesting thing is going to be the longer what's occurring in our community happens as numbers are increasing and not decreasing. We're going to be in this model for closure for buildings, and so that could progress into our summer. And we got to think about the start of the school year, what that might mean. So, following the governor's executive order on schools, the commissioner of education, Mike Moran, sent something out. It says, it is important to note that while the governor's decision continues the closure of school buildings for in-person classroom attendance for the duration of the 1920 school year, it in no way ends at home instructional supports for Texas millions, 5.2, 5.3, round that up or not, of students. Schools across Texas have done diligent work to make the transition to virtual learning. Students must continue to receive daily academic support from their teachers and schools for the remainder of the 1920 school year. So our school calendar is open and alive, and instruction will continue down that pathway. That could cause some people to take this weekend and indulge in whatever their beverage of choice might be, knowing that school is still on. And that will be a celebration for us as we come back Monday, we come back ready to dive all into it. But from this point on, I am not wanting students in front of a device. What I want students in front of is, the yard, the sun. I think it's coming out just a little bit right now. I just need a little bit more. But I want kids off a device if at all possible and get in front of something else just for this weekend and just in this time as we re-engage on Monday. So those big points, we assumed and took action towards what the possibility of a closure that could go longer than what we anticipated would be like, and we're there. That closure could extend itself even beyond that threshold and that time point, which I believe it might just be that case, but we'll see as we progress further on, and we'll make actions in due course. We are planning for everything that we know could be a possibility, and we've done a very good job. Very proud of the team on how they hit it exactly how it needs to land. And as we progress forward, you're going to see the teams continue to make that effort and make that happen. I want to thank everybody, and I appreciate everyone's patience through this. It is a stressful time. We provided mental health for both students and adults, parents, teachers, all of our staff members to be able to provide an outlet for you to reach out during this time frame, because it is a hard time frame. Trust me, even the best of us, whether you have two parents with college degrees in a home, I would take that there is a struggle occurring there, or you have a parent who's not in the home because of the work environment, they are having to be out of the home, there is a struggle there. I don't believe anyone is going without some form of struggle around what this looks like in your home. And it's okay. That's normal. That's the new normal. We're going to continue with our academic plan, so just know that. And it's Google Classroom. That's our platform for bringing teachers to you. It works in a variety of ways so that you can access it at your time, so that your students can get the lesson planning from teachers, see your teacher read, see your students engage, and then go and attack the assignments that are placed there, so we can better know where you stand and how you are learning, so that we can then progress monitor you to say, hey, you're doing all the right things and are ready to launch to the next step. And we want you to. Don't forget that we've got locations around the city, which is really interesting, but we've got locations, our school buildings, we've got 9 of them. Parks, we have 3 of them that have boosted their Wi-Fi out. So if you want to, take an excursion and say, we're going to school today, it's on. And you load your student up, you go and you drive to the school, park in the parking lot. You can have what is that setting of a school environment. Go before lunch, the delivery of lunch and breakfast at 10:30. Go at 8 or 9:30 and do just that, and then pick up your breakfast and lunch and then move on. And I'll talk more about breakfast and lunch here in just a moment. But I heard a story just the other day, which was incredible. Young man, teacher was driving by and saw what was a student outside on a device of a subway. So we have as well locations throughout our city. You have to use your social distancing and all the right factors around it that have Wi-Fi availability as well. During a time where we're not in place like this and in a lockdown, it creates an opportunity to go inside and engage. Student was able to be outside. The teacher was able to talk with the student about what they were doing and what they were working on. That's what teachers do. They see kids and they make it happen. And the student was doing what he needed to do, which was make it happen also by any means necessary. He was going to find a place where he had an opportunity to access Wi-Fi. I'll talk about access here in just a moment, so that family that had that, and maybe the student needed a time and a break from their home teacher, because I think kids need some breaks from their home teachers as well, because they're like, that's not how we do it. And what kind of teacher are you? And maybe drive some of our teachers to the Friday after 5:30 beverage of choice. We want to provide families an opportunity to engage on what Wi-Fi could look like for you if that is not something you need to do, which is a student has to come out of the classroom so that they can take a break from their home teacher. I just shared a little while ago about mealtime. Just know meal times are going to change. We're no longer going to be doing 2 meal deliveries at 2 separate times. Breakfast at 7:30, lunch at 11:30. We're going to condense and do one meal delivery, which will go from 10:30 to 12:30. You'll get both breakfast and lunch. This is going to help in a lot of ways around the delivery for what we're making happen, for the volunteers who are coming out and helping us on how we're going to move to an opportunity to get fewer people engaged around what this looks like for the social distancing aspect. It's our way of trying to put some controls into place and enhance our plan. We've talked about this very early on. You would have heard there's going to become a time where we might do 1 meal a day. We've worked our plan and have now gotten it to, starting Monday, 10:30 to 12:30. So the parent, because I know you're there, that's going to show up at 7:30, don't get mad at me. We are doing a phone call out, so your phone's going to ring. You know it's me calling. Please don't hang up, and please don't just send that to voicemail. It's an important call that's coming about what's happening in the district. Just play it on the speaker and let it run. It's going to give you some good information. Because I don't need you mad at me at 7:30 wondering, where is everybody? Why isn't everybody here? They're late. I'm the early one. So let's be sure, 10:30 to 12:30. Also want to let you know that our Meals on Wheels program, where we push meals out into homes for families who can't get to us, those meals will be coming during that same time frame. So again, don't expect them at 7:30. They'll be there at 10:30. What they'll do is they'll give you lunch and the next day's breakfast. So they're going to work through this whole piece moving out. Buses that are going out to our feeding sites will do similar. So what you can do in our bus sites, you have two buses that are coming out. One is the Wi-Fi bus. It's going to be out there from 8:30 to 12:30. The other is going to be the food bus. It's going to be there from 10:30 to 12:30. So what you can do is you can get out there on the Wi-Fi with the Wi-Fi bus for 2 hours and knock out some work. And then at 10:30, you can take your break because here comes our bus that has our meals. And then grab your meals and get to your breakfast and lunchtime. It's an opportunity for you to make it happen. One of the things about the change as well is we have 8,000 meals we serve a day between 11:30 and 12:30 and 3,000 for breakfast. So what we're doing is we're combining the smaller with the larger and making that an outcome. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to work. As well, starting on Monday, starting on Monday, if you're a parent, which is perfectly fine, and you're coming to get your meal for your student, which is perfectly fine, we're going to ask that you fill out a form. So if you're by yourself, no kids in the car, in the back seat, the front seat, back seat, front seat, no kids, we're going to have you fill out a form just to document that this meal is for, Orlando Riddick, and he is in the 3rd grade. Just so we have that documentation. I've talked about this before, just so we have that documentation for the Texas Department of Agriculture so that they're ready when they ask us, you gave meals to people who shouldn't have had meals. No, look, I have my form. I'm going to show you. This is how I know. Please reimburse this, because if we are not able to verify that that is what is taking place, it's going to be a charge that we will have to pay to the Texas Department of Agriculture for those meals being served. It's how they work. Very bureaucratic. It's what it is. But I want to make sure if you show up to a meal site and someone gives you a form because you have no kids in the car, we're just going to ask you to tell us who these meals are for. So if you want 4 meals, 2 meals, we need 2 names or 4 names. It's simple as that, so that we can be sure that those meals are getting to our kids and for our kids. And once you completed the form, this will be one for you, one for me. You keep yours. You keep that out there. You can go to any meal site at that point in time, show and identify that letter that identifies the kiddos that you have, because I have my form on hand. Keep it in your dashboard. Keep it in your glove box. Keep it in the car so you don't lose it. But if you do lose it, it's going to happen. If the dog eats it, that's what kids have said to me before about their homework. We'll give you another one. You can complete that form. With Wi-Fi, talking about the student who is doing his job. That's what I'm talking about. I need that student on my team, doing his job, knocking out the Wi-Fi outside of Subway, working on his teacher's assignments and learning. We have an opportunity where we boosted Wi-Fi, which I shared in 9 locations, 3 city locations. He found a resource and activated it. We're also going to be issuing out what are going to be our Wi-Fi devices. They're working through some settings right now. Your campus principals have identified who needs those. If you do need them, please let your campus teacher or your campus principal know so that we can ensure that we get you on a list. The demand may exceed the inventory. So we have another round 2 of what we're looking at doing as well. So you got to work with us as we work to get you those Wi-Fi devices into your home so that you can access in any weather, anytime, any point, what could be online learning, because it's going to be available for you. Want you to be sure that you go to our website, which is going to be midlandisd.net/COVID Wi-Fi. That's going to help plug you in where those locations are and how you can do something different in a day if you have that capability to get out of the home and go to one of those locations. Just a couple more things that we've got built in. We've got enrollment that's occurring right now. It's online. No more filling out papers and every name every year, and you get all these pieces of papers coming home, and you got 4 kids and you got to fill out 1 for each kid, and it could become very tedious. We've moved away from it. It's online. It pre-populates. If you've been in our district, it will pre-populate with information. You check the information, it's right. You click good to go. Go to your next student, good to go. I guarantee it is not going to take you more than 3 minutes if you've been a student and you have no changes that are occurring for you to get through the online enrollment. Some important components around that is the student code of conduct. Be sure you get it. Be sure you read it. But I would tell you that those are the major pieces that are inside this online platform, and it's convenient for you. You can do it with your smartphone. It's very easy to do with a smartphone. You can do it with your laptop. That's what I'm working on right here, the laptop. You can do it with any device that approaches getting Wi-Fi. It allows you to do it. You can pull up to a school if you don't have Wi-Fi. You can pull up to the school and access it that way. Pull up to the central office and access it that way, and take care of that. There are going to be some families who all that is not going to work. We'll give you the paper copy. But I'm going to tell you, if you want to make it extremely easy to get your student plugged in for the 2020-2021 school year, online. That's how we're making it happen. It's paperless, it's seamless, and it works. So be sure you get that started. And it's going to be at midlandisd.net/enrollment. It's going to take you to exactly what you need to do. As well, want everyone to think about something called Skyward Family Access. It is your way of knowing what your student has in their academic bank account. You can be nosy parents. You can know exactly what's going on with your student. You can set parameters around any information that you want regarding them academically. But you've got to go in and you got to get registered, because that's how we're issuing out your grades. Remember, we're going very much into a seamless environment. That's how we're issuing out progress reports. So it allows you to go and get all that information so that you can know how your student is performing in every class that they take, and feedback from the teacher. It's called Family Skyward Access. You go to our website at midlandisd.net/skyward, look for Family Access, and that's your point to launch in. One last thing, census. Since we're doing online, census has gone online. Want to be sure that you take care of your census work, your census due diligence as a community member. It allows us to fund a number of things that we get support for in our community. The more people that they know are in our community, the more resources that we do get. So please take care of that. Closing remark for Midland on 30. Just want to say thank you to our parents. Thank you, parents. We've said thank you to a lot of people, but I wanted to say thank you, parents, because you guys are making it happen. You guys are pulling your hair like we pull out our hair. You guys are losing your mind like we've lost our mind. We are now becoming one. We are becoming connected. And I will tell you that in this, it's allowing us to really get a better understanding about who you have as your most prized possession, which is your most prized learner. We're learning together on how to meet that need. So thank you. You've told us what you wanted. You're now helping us through this process and navigating it. It is mind-boggling. It is frustrating. It makes you want to sleep in and not wake up, and it wants to put you to bed early. But you've been there with us, and I want to say thank you for that. Keep up the good work. Good job. Keep it up. Keep it up. Come back Monday. That's the next thing. Please come back Monday. You got to come back Monday. We need you. You are certainly dynamic in nature of parent and teacher. With that, I'm going to step up and jump into questions. I saw something early on in my feed. My feed is a little further down, but about graduation. We're working through that right now. Now that we've got information from the governor on what it seemed like we were going to be, where we were going to be headed, graduation is the next big factor that's coming up. And I've had to respond to a number of emails around what graduation could look like. We're planning for a virtual graduation is what we're planning. The likelihood of getting 7,000 to 8,000 people in an arena seated, probably not probable. People have pitched ideas of what if we did it in hundreds of increments, meaning we just do 100 kids here, or get a smaller facility and we do letters, names A through L. That still provides an opportunity for more people to come together. Again, exceeds the number of 10, which is the large gathering that's been put out, that we would not want to propose that we do that in our community. I've heard the drive-in. We could do it a number of ways at the drive-in. The drive-in is a factor that we're looking at. So shout out to Old School, the drive-in. I think that's a viable opportunity to incorporate that in some form or fashion into our graduation component. So we'll see how that finalizes itself out, but we are working through that right now. Plug into our Seniors 2020. That's the website that you need to go to when you come to midlandisd.net. It's going to help you get a lot of information as we progress forward. I feel for our seniors. I have one. I want him to have this amazing ceremony that is, we wait for that name, we shout and we scream. It's an amazing time to see our kids walk through and celebrate and cross over into their next chapter of life. This generation is just going to be very different. This generation started with 9/11. This generation is, and their schooling is coming to an end with COVID-19. This generation is under attack. We're going to figure out a way to help this generation exceed, because there is something special and planned for this generation. And that is why I feel that they are certainly under the gauntlet right now for things that are happening in their life. But we're going to make it happen for our seniors, because they deserve something. It may not be optimal, but we are going to certainly do something for our seniors to recognize the work that they've done. So let me go ahead and look at some of the comments here. Thank you, Elise, for responding. Martha, provide proof of residence. I'm not sure if that's relating to the meals or not. That is certainly not the case. Just let us know you're an adult picking up a meal. If it's about enrollment, there are enrollment factors. If you were a new student coming in, your verification of residence and information. If nothing's changed on your document, that is the case. And guess what? We will check. Because I'll tell you, if your student does all the right things, we don't need to check anything. But if your student is doing things that are not the right things, like missing school, coming late, being a discipline problem, failing a class, tardy to class, all those things put students on the radar. Your students on the radar, the word gets out. You know what? They don't live where they say they live, and we go check. So be sure that you are putting all the correct information in, because that's one of the ways that we ensure that we can reach you. But it's another way that ensure that you validate that you're going to be doing all right things. So there are some requirements and validations that come through that. Let's see. And yes, thank you, Christine. She shares that we've created a way for you to upload information that's required for you. So it's a picture. Again, with your picture of the camera, you can upload it to the email. It allows you to upload files, which is so sensational. That allows you to, in your convenience of what you're doing, to do all the right things. So go in and check it out. I guarantee it's going to help. It's going to work. Yes, thank you, Paul. School has not been canceled. All kids out there, school is on Monday. And so school has not been canceled. And after the May 4th, school is going to continue. It will be with our at-home learning platform. And then we'll get into our summer learning. So thank you, Paul. I hate to break it to your kids softly, right? That school has not been canceled. Buildings have been canceled. School is still on. Nothing says we have to have a building to learn in it, at least in this state right now that we're in under COVID-19. And so with that, we're going to be doing our learning old school style for a little bit. And respect to all the homeschool parents who have been doing it for a while. It's we respect you right now, because it is a task to take on. So Chrissy, yes. So the governor put in his executive order what allows teachers to come back into the classroom, because spring break, that Friday in spring break, we were celebrating, we were waving bye to kids, and we were gone. And so we've got to work to get teachers back into their classrooms to collect their things so that they can box the things that they need to box. We have teachers, unfortunately, who are going to resign and not be part of our family. They need to collect their things. We have people who are going to retire who have been part of our family for a very long time. They need to collect their things. We have people who are going to be coming in. So the governor made allowances for what that looks like through his proclamation or his executive order, so that we can get teachers back into the classroom and take care of those things. Because at some point in time, we are going to be in school. We are going to be taking care of business in the optimal format of being in front of your kids. All right. Here's someone saying, contact principal, please do. Yep, Tracy. Now it's going to be kids. How do kids get their belongings from the classroom? Because my baby may have left his favorite jacket in the class, and I want that jacket. And so we got to figure out next steps. Once teachers collect their things, how do teachers label things? So if you have a student who, I'm about to get a delivery here. I need my family to come, because it's going to set the dog off if he is not where he's supposed to be. Because he's going to ring the doorbell and he's going to walk away. And unfortunately, my dog is away. So that's one step. All right, here we go. Yes, if you need support or help, please contact your principal. Please contact your teacher. It's going to allow us to give you the things that you need in order to make that happen. So if you know that you left something with your teacher in the classroom, Google Classroom, right? Hey, Orlando left this North Face jacket, true story, from my Diego, and we have not seen it. Is it in the class yet? Would you please label it? And then we'll figure out what next steps we need to do to allow parents to come in and collect their things that were gotten in the classroom. But please reach out to your teacher if there are things that are left there. Typically with supplies, a lot of supplies gets used. Who wants to use crayons at this stage? So what we do is we try to recycle a lot of those things and see what we might want to do. So you got to see what is it you want. And so we'll work with our teachers to see what does that look like that parents are trying to collect. Thank you, Paul. Keeping someone aware and focused, stay plugged in. We're saying things over and over. Yeah, Latoya, some kids did put graduation off because they could have graduated early. We do a small event in coming out of the Christmas break that allows us to do a mid-year graduation. And yeah, this is the year. If you put graduation off, you could have graduated early. What it does then is it lets you know that we're not having graduation. We'll do something. We'll have something for your student, but it won't be what you were looking at and thinking through. So you have to think about a small ceremony that's more intimate for you and your family. I got my crew over here trying to get me to look at what was delivered. And thank you, team, because that is going to be a good thing I'm going to be working with here in just a minute. The team did a very nice thing for me. Thank you, Andra. Children 18 and under. If you're over 18 and you're a special needs student in a special program, we do offer meals to that student, but you got to identify that student, identify who the student is and what grade. If they're over age, please identify how so they're meeting that need, and we'll be able to get you a meal. But if you've been driving with your kids, because I would, wait, if I'm going to get up, you're going to get up and you're going to come with me because this is feed you. You're going to get in the car and come with me and you're fine. You have no form, no need. You just keep doing what you've been doing. But if you've been very nice, because my wife would do this, she let her baby sleep and she'll go ahead and get the meal and then can bring it back and set it up and then let him come out all sleepy eyed and, walking in and, there's this chocolate milk. She'll go do that for him. She's going to need a form. Here about yearbooks. We'll work through that on what yearbook pickup could look like. We've done similar. What we've done around that is, do we wait to a certain point to move through what all these pickups could look like? The Chromebooks, the Wi-Fi devices. We've done band instruments, the things that kids need to have to practice with. Then we move to the other items of what that looks like. So that's, again, hundreds of people coming to think about getting their yearbook. How does the distribution look like that? And that's one of the things that we're going to have to work with our principals on what does that look like to package these items that a student needs to get. And then, do you owe for anything that you need to be paying for before you get it? So they got to figure out what all that looks like, because typically we give it in a distribution where you just walk into the auditorium and pick it up and go. We've got a few things to work through there. School transfers. I would say, Betty, that school transfers are out there. One of the things that you've got to think through is you go to our website and look to Jill McCall's office for enrollment. You can see about transfers and what that looks like. We created a transfer window, so we weren't getting this all the time, and it's going to have the date and time in there. So if someone could help her answer that question, I'd appreciate it. All right. Thank you guys for responding on answering questions. Thank you, Heidi, for reinforcing, if you're by yourself, you're the only adult in the car or the two adults in the car, no kids. Just tell us who your meals that you're coming, because someone's coming in to say, hey, I need four lunches. And it's just an adult in the car and we're giving them 4 lunches. Well, the TDA says, not so fast, my friend. Who are those lunches actually for? Maybe they're taking them to work. Maybe they're taking them to other people that are 18 and over. So they want us to know. We want to make sure that they're for kids in our community. Who name the kids in our community, what grade level, if there's a grade level, because you could be 2 years old, not be in a grade, right? But still be a kid in our community. But tell us who they are. I can go online and look up that student and know if they're in the district. You don't have to be in the district, but I can verify things that way. Yep. Thank you for the time change. Letting people know 10:30, 12:30. That's where we're at. Yep. I'm with you, Brittany. I feel for our seniors, but this is the power of what we need to let our seniors know. Don't let's not deflate all the work that's been done to this stage. This is a ceremony, is one that we want all of our seniors to have. They've had a successful year. They've done incredible things. They're going to phenomenal places. I'm excited for the academic work that they've stuck to, the work that they continue to stick through. They're being punched in the gut, but guess what, they are not falling, because see, they could fall and stay down, or they can stand up and keep going and marching forward. And that's what this generation is going to have to do. This generation is going to have to understand the things thrown at you will be able to weather and get through in order to make the impact that our world needs, because we need you to step up and make this impact in so many different ways to help us as a country, as a state, and as a community. So continue to encourage them. It is hard, but continue to encourage them. They've got to stay encouraged through this entire moment. Think about colleges who are doing the same thing. So you were just talking about high school. Colleges are doing the same thing. So people who work so hard to get to that 4-year threshold, 2-year threshold, and they're not having that ceremony as well. We've got to keep our kids encouraged to stay in the game, to stay in play. That as much of a big ceremony we would give, we're going to do a small one in our house to celebrate the work that you've done. And we're going to make it as exciting. You don't get all your peers, because I guarantee you, when you go to graduation, you don't want to hear one name, unless you have multiple kids, but you want to hear one name. So let's celebrate that one name when we're in the home. It can be done just as vibrantly, with as much passion and love. Okay, so let's see. Tanya, if a parent picks up from Facebook, if a parent picks up lunch and does not have their children in the vehicle, you are with me so far, will have to complete a form. Yep. Yep. And name of kids. All kids 18 years or under can get breakfast and lunch. Tanya, thank you. You're listening. Thank you. That's exactly it. If you're an adult in the car by yourself, 18 and under, you get a breakfast and a lunch. Identify who that is. If you said it's for my 27-year-old son who's come back to live with us, he's gonna have to figure out how to get PBJ and ramen noodles, but he's not gonna get the sausage biscuit and everything else that we might have. Joyce, not sure about, do we need to exchange our hotspot devices? I would tell you, if you've gotten a device, you're good. These are new devices that are coming in. That device works. It doesn't change unless you've done something to the settings aspect. Any device that you've received from us as a district, that device works. And so you're good to go. These are devices that we've added in, another thousand waiting behind that. And let's see if we need another 1,000 waiting behind that. So we're working through what that could all look like for us. All right, let's see what else I have from Facebook. We're right at 32 and 43. So let me just kind of dive through here a little bit. Thank you, Christine, for answering. Thank you, Brandon, for letting me know. Contact principal as Brandon Thurston, principal at Sam Houston. Doing a great job over there. Thank you, Andra, for getting out there and jumping out there. Don, thank you. Responding and helping families. That's what we do. Yep. Thank you, Betty, for recognizing our Senior 2020 page. It lets you get a lot of information, helps you. There are Facebook groups. Thank you, Christine, at the campus level, PTAs. You can get plugged in. Parents, get plugged in. Information is there. Get plugged in. You'll get a lot of things that are beneficial to help you understand how to navigate our world of education, because you're doing it right now as a home leader, but certainly step up and gather the information that's coming out. Okay, we'll find out about Life Touch, Monica, and I'll have my team take a note on you getting your pictures. We got to see how much of a mail out. Again, is that a picture and a yearbook, or is it just a picture? Because we did pictures for our records, so we could have students, and then of course they sell you a whole package of what does it look like to pose with your student looking as beautiful as they do, and do you get those, and how we now get those into your hand. Because again, that's going to be quite a few kiddos trying to come through, and what we might do by grade level, by teacher, how we might think about distribution of things. We're not there yet. Thank you, Rebecca. Seniors mean a lot to me. Kids mean a lot to me, but seniors especially, because they've devoted their time. And I will tell you one fact: kids in Midland who stay in our system do phenomenally well. I've gotten research that shows kids that have been in our system K through 12 excel. I mean, do incredible job when you stay in the system and endure the entire length of time. I'm very proud of our seniors. Their ACT, their SAT scores are tops in the state. That's a fact. You can look it up. How well they perform. Their college going rate is sensational. Proud, very proud of that. So kudos to our seniors. They are the outcome of what we know and what we remember. Kim, can't go right. Yeah, hit the brakes. You can't go to class right now. What we're doing is we'll let you know. Your principal will reach out to you so that we can set up what that looks like in order to establish how we get up to the building, how we take care of ourselves, how we apply social distancing. We got to work with our health team, our director of nursing, who is Imogene. So we'll work with Imogene on what that schedule looks like, how we put all the protocols in place. Because what we don't want to have happen is we get a whole bunch of people to the campus. They see each other. They haven't seen each other in a long time. They talk. They spend a lot of time, social in a social element. And then we have people go home, and now we have people who are sick. And now they can't deliver the classroom expectation that we have. And now we're fighting something else on top of that. So we want to be sure we're trying to put this out in the best way possible. So time will come. You just have to be patient as we roll out what this could look like for us. Thank you, Andrew, letting them know. Principal will be in contact with you. Okay, I'm just scrolling through. Gosh, you guys are doing a great job of responding. Thank you. Think you guys are on it. Uh, yep. Thank you, Tracy, one of our principals as well, saying, "Hey, learning's still on. Only the brick and mortar is closed. The learning is on." So let everybody know, learning's on. Learning is on. And thank you, Andrea. Yep, big and little. We're going to be celebrating a lot of those things. And when we come back together, we're going to make a 1 day celebration. When we come back together, we're all together, where we just close the books, close the computers, and we just stop and celebrate the fact that we are back together and we're ready. Okay, let me see. Elizabeth, you have a rising kindergarten. You registered my current first grader. Thank you for second grade next year on Skyward. Awesome. I do not have a tab on the left side of my Skyward to register my kindergarten. So we just talked about that. We're progressing to get our kinder online. So keep plugging in and we'll have information that comes out about registering your kindergarten student. We have about 2,000 of you guys, 2,000 plus. And so we will work to get you guys set up. And you saw how easy it was to do your second grader. This one's going to be a little bit more because you got to enter all the information. But from this point going forward, it will be as fluid as you did your second grader. So that information is coming for kinder enrollment as well as for GT. We're working through all those pieces for the number of kids that we need to get tested, who said that their kid is GT, because every kid is GT. They learn in their own special way. Based on the assessment that we deliver as a district, we have kids qualified with those initials to go to a school called Carver, a great place. And so we're working through what testing could look like for those kiddos. All right, dropping down. Let me see. Thank you, Misty. On the MIC website, there are instructions on how to register a new student when you currently have other students enrolled. Yep. You can see it. You can go in there. So that might help as well. And I don't know if that's already been built out for our kinder students, but let's see. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I know in pre-K as well. Pre-K is being set up to push what online could look like for online enrollment. So be ready for that as well. Yep. Certainly, teachers can start planning on what new things that they're going to be doing to design their classroom as our kids come back. And I'm sure there's going to be some exciting things. Shout out to CNS. Absolutely. Our CNS team has been delivering from day one. A phenomenal team. All right. I'm getting close to the bottom. We're at 39 and 20. Okay. I saw someone, it might be a teacher, says, "Who do I call for a substitute teacher?" If parents, let me tell you, there is no subject call. You are it. You cannot be sick. You can't take the day off. You can't walk out. You can't go to a union. You can't do any of those things. So parents, thank you. That's a thank you because you guys have been doing a fabulous job and staying with it. Just come back. Just take your breath and just come back. Come back. Monday. Come back Monday. Your break starts now. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody for staying plugged in. I want to thank everybody for responding and providing your comments. We're trying to do as much as we can to help our team, to help our community make a deliverable in a very, very erratic situation. This is our new normal, and we're trying to make that new normal as feasible as possible for everyone. This environment right now is going to create a digital divide. I'm seeing it as we speak. For those who struggle in the home with a lot of noise, to those who the home life is an amazing home life, this learning right now environment is going to set up a gap that will take us back to what we've seen before that we're going to have to work to close rapidly. That's why you plugged in. We'll get you a device. We'll get you Wi-Fi. We'll find a location. We'll get buses to you. We'll push food. We'll do whatever it takes so that gap doesn't start to grow and we're able to close it. My home team is coming to tell me something. All right. So if you're thinking about GPA, grade point average, what we're doing is we know everybody completed the first semester. So you got 3 6 weeks in. First 6 weeks, second 6 weeks, third 6 weeks. You got your first semester. The second semester, you've not gotten that completion done. So with the second semester, we know you have the fourth 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks of the second semester. So you have the fourth, the third, the second, and the first. We're going to take that, and that's going to be what's going to work to calculate your GPA. That way we know that based on the standards, everybody played in the game the same way, and you were accountable during that time. You were able to turn in late work and missing work during each of those 6 weeks increments, and that's how your GPA will get calculated. Go to our website. There's information about how we're calculating a lot of the information, as well as our top 10, how we're building that calculation forward, and how we're doing our progress monitoring. So stay plugged in with that so that you can stay in tune. If you've done all the right things, you have done your job to push from here to the end. For those, because I've been one, didn't do all the right things, we're gonna work to close that gap so that you can get the better of the two. We have a plan that's designed that if you stay in the game right now and you were not doing well, I will give you the better of the two, which would mean that I can get you, if you're doing all the right things, a 75 and move you progressing through the second 6 weeks to close up a gap that you may have developed because of your fourth 6 weeks grade. But you've got to stay plugged in. You've got to want to do it. School is not closed. You got to make sure that you want this to happen for you because this is about you and no one else. And we're ready to make that happen for you. So look for that information on our website as well. Talk to your teachers, talk to your principal, talk to your counselor so that you know where you sit and where you stand. Don't let me have to come find you. You find us because it's going to be an important factor. But if I have to find you, I will. All right, last thing. I want to shout out Elizabeth. Thank you for sending out a shout out of thanks. I appreciate all that and the team. Last one, I've got Nikki. I expect struggles. It's my job to clear those in the classroom. It's harder to do this way. Not sure the reference behind it because I'm not seeing the string that led into it. But yes, everything that we're doing has a struggle and an implement of struggle built into it. It has it from the parents, from the teachers. It has it from the superintendent. Let me tell you. But I will tell you this. The struggle is going to make us so much better. It's going to make us so much better as we advance into our future. And that's why we're doing this together. I want to say thank you. I want to shout out. I want to say it is Midland in 45 in 30 seconds. So with that, I want to send a shout out. Go enjoy the weekend. Looks like the sun has peaked out. Your weekend, or at least my weekend, starts right now.